you really understand who people are when the everything bagels leave. Like, you really understand people's craziness.
All right, everything's rolling. We're live. Sam Zeitlin, you're in the studio.
Thank you so much.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah. It was really nice to see. I had no idea that you were right next to Pequods. How does that feel? I don't know if you've been to Pequods prior to that, but
it's really serendipitous. Just I think it's just like a dream come true, and it's a funny Chicago connection.
Yeah.
But way more than Pequods, like Potbellies. I'm next to Potbellies, which I grew up going to Potbellies on the East Coast. I had no idea that it was a Chicago-born sandwich concept.
I knew that either.
And like, I used to go to the movie theater. I was like watching Spy Kids, and then I would eat Potbellies like before we go to see these core memories. And I had no idea that it was from Chicago. So it's like I was living my life, and I had no idea that it was, Chicago was right there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many months has it been with the brick and mortar?
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 90 days.
Where is our head?
90 days tomorrow.
That's amazing. And team at, like, do we feel like we're relatively on top of things? Do we feel like we're putting out fires left and right? Where do we feel?
We are on top of things.
Oh.
We are definitely putting out fires, and we're having a lot of fun. Every single day is a good day for the most part.
Yeah.
January, it's gone, and
fat flying.
Yeah, it flew through. But we've never had as much sales during January.
Right.
Now that we have the restaurant, it's also just restaurants in Chicago in January slow.
Yeah.
So getting comfortable with that, and now constantly planning for the future.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the concept Zeitlin's or the pursuit of bagels. When did that really start, though? Because if you could take it back beyond that, if you'd like to. Maybe if you wanted to rewind the clock all the way back to thinking about pursuing culinary. So CIA, right?
Yeah. So growing up, loved eating, loved cooking, and what really drew me to following the craft of hospitality was I love just being with people wherever they're at in their life, and food was always something that I felt just really brought people together. And the whole deli and the bagels, like, that's like my soul food. That's like what I grew up on, and I never knew that it would have as much of an effect on me in like a professional sense.
Yeah.
When I got older and when I experienced other restaurants and other styles of food, other styles of cooking, to then being here in Chicago and not having access to it. And the fact that I didn't have access to it, starting to get into my late 20s, like, it was like, oh wow, like I have an obligation to understand more about this. And yeah.
I like how you said that. I mean, you felt obligated.
Yeah.
Something was pulling you.
Yeah, for sure.
I think many Chicagoans that are listening would agree that prior to the bagel boom, people would make the trek all the way to Skokie for New York Bagel and Bialy.
Yeah, and the ritual of going up there is
it's sacred.
It's sacred. I love the experience of going in to that particular shop, because you set your timer. And I've never had an experience that's been longer than 15, 20 minutes. But like, you're there, and
depends on the time of day. But
that's
also
a blessing for me. But like, you go in, you talk to your friend or your acquaintance you're about to be friends with, and it's, you're just waiting in line for that snack. This is interesting. There was one time I went, as a secret shopper. This was like maybe less than a year ago, and I asked the individual in front of me, I was like, hey, so like, why do you come here? Oh, I grew up like around here, and I used to eat here a lot, and it's just like very comforting. I'm like, okay, what's your order? I get a chocolate chip bagel with jalapeno cream cheese. Like, and look, like I'm here for it. You know, I'm here to listen and I'm here to understand more, because as something that's so sacred as your order on a bagel, like I really want to understand like why. It's like, okay, and that's toasted. They're like, is that even a question? So their offering that was just like, wow, like that's such like a unique flavor, and we don't offer that at the deli. So I'm like, am I ostracizing people? You know, like,
that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And it's good on you for being curious as to what brings people to their habitual, you know, places.
Yeah.
A good buddy visited us yesterday who would get weekly bagels. Like their family friend would drop off Sunday bagels from Bagel and Bialy.
Yeah.
And he had 3 other siblings, and he would get last dibs, and the last dibs would be the egg bagel. And I showed him a photo of your egg bagel. He's like, that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know how I fell in love with egg bagel? It's because I got last dibs, and everyone got the sesame or the everything or the garlic with their, you know, preferred schmear, but he fell in love with egg bagels.
And you really understand who people are when the everything bagels leave. Like, you really understand people's craziness. And yeah, and too, like, there's so many different types of bagels and so many different stories and memories. And yeah, we started doing egg bagels recently. They're going great. And yeah, egg everything.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So set the scene, because when I think of like Delicatessen, I'm thinking New York, and you were in Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland growing up.
Is this like a corner store? Is this, how often would you get these? So go to the deli?
Yeah, so my parents are from New York. I went to New York a lot, but in the DC area back, you know, in the 90s, there were like a lot of delis still. And, you know, it would be once a week going to the actual deli. And then we would, you know, have it once a week, maybe at our house. Like we would get the sliced turkey and whatever, like make the sandwich and whatnot. Go and eat a bagel, you know, sliced bagel, like open face, you know, sandwich type of deal. So yeah, it was just something that was always there, but I didn't understand that it was like that culturally connected to me.
Yeah.
And I guess too, like, I mean, I grew up in such a diverse area, so I would like see, you know, my friends, you know, eating certain things with their families, and like it felt so like it was an incredible experience to eat with them, like their food. And like, I guess that Jewish deli food, it obviously is like, you know, a diaspora food, but it didn't feel that it was necessarily like my Jewish food, even though it definitely was. And it's really interesting how the bagel and kind of deli has become like so closely knit in like American pop culture and like just American food in general. But yeah, just as I got older, and, you know, like we were speaking about earlier, I spent so much time working like on the line, like at these restaurants and everything, but I never really took a step back and was like what, like, why am I not making this food? Why am I not learning about it? Why am I not feeling this like urge to go and, you know, try to make a bagel or try to make a challah? So yeah,
Yeah, so it kind of happened, the curiosity kind of happened a little later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like coming here, I started baking bagels out of my house actually, and I was raising money for melanoma awareness, and just something like with my family, good deeds, philanthropy, getting closer to food, getting closer to bagels, getting closer to deli, kind of all kind of played together. And that was also my first time, I guess. It started as philanthropy, but it turned into this like entrepreneurial spirit and zest. You know, I was like sending bagels like across state lines, and they were really, really bad. And it was just, yeah, you know, but it was like very exciting. And it was like, I was spending so much time doing this one thing. And I just, the thing I love about food is like, you're just so present with it, whatever dish you're making. And the bagel is just something that I really just like fell in love with. And yeah, it was also a time where I spent time before moving to Chicago. I lived on a farm on Long Island. And on the farm, my chef was really into sourdough bread baking, whole wheat, high extraction flour. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make these whole wheat bagels. And it was like, I was going for what I thought the bagel should be, but I never really even got into like what the bagel is supposed to be, or what was and what still is. So, at first it was like a higher hydration dough, and we were rolling them in like a specific way. And then over the years, we kind of got more into like what a traditional, like I guess, East Coast style would be. But then along with that, we also started taking, inspiration from the city of Chicago. So we, we started at the farmers markets. We started making, sourdough bread with the Janie's Mill flour, and we were, doing a giardiniera focaccia. And, it was really special. So yeah.
To make it your own, to make it palatable. To the Chicago market.
Yeah.
So you're nearing end of high school, right?
Yeah.
Were you thinking about other pathways besides culinary?
Not at the time. I mean, I applied to other schools, like got in more like traditional, 4-year route, but I was very focused on working in restaurants, going to culinary school, and seeing what would happen next.
What would you have pursued, like a business pathway? Like what pathway, if you were to do a traditional 4-year undergrad?
I mean, now, like seeing what I'm doing now, I think it would have been like a communications route or a sales route. I've really, really enjoyed getting into sales and getting into just, being with people where they're at in their Zeitlin's journey. And that's also always been very important in like Jewish hospitality, Jewish deli, identity, is like, we want to be with you every step of the way from, from when you're born to when you die, there's always a time to eat this food. And what's also really sentimental is like, I've eaten this food at the highest highs and like the lowest lows, and that it's just such like a comforting thing. Went to culinary school, had some internships, and then, went the more like traditional restaurant route. So working in, I worked in cafes, I worked in like 1-star restaurants. But then,
what was the takeaway from CIA, from Culinary Institute of America, as far as like what pathways were then available to you, and not just available, what were you interested in? Like, you said you tried it all, fine dining from cafes.
Yeah.
But
So what was available at the time was, it was still very much involved in like the cookbook culture, and social media was not what it is now. I think like the biggest thing at our social media like fingertips was like Facebook and watching videos like on YouTube, like so
what 2010s or
2011
okay.
on. And baking bread was not as popular. I think that was like a very niche thing that I didn't have access to, or I didn't like pursue it. Like, I think that access to things, you could definitely find it. And at this school, like there was definitely bread being made, but it wasn't like, oh, I could do that. Like I could make bagels. I could, make sourdough bread. And a lot of my peers, like the ones that stuck around in food, they were like going to like the fine dining restaurants, or they were going to like the hotels. And then eventually when they ended up, am I going to be a cook, or am I going to, do front of house, or, some of the students didn't even stay like in the restaurant field. Like they, went into, either like hospitality management or sales, or they went like a different route. But yeah, I was very determined to stick with this and to see it through. And the whole idea of like working in a restaurant, you're with so many different types of people with so many different stories trying to solve these problems of, organization and leadership and mentorship and can the food come out faster? Can it come out more efficiently? Can it be like a collaborative experience? And I think that I've definitely seen it become way more of that as things have evolved and changed.
What a beautiful concept to not only strive for but achieve excellence as a team effort when everyone on the team is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, and too, I saw the poster you put, like, you know, when something about like when things like get hard or challenging, you have to like stand firm and just dig deeper, and I think too, like that's like what attracted I think a lot of folks I worked with and the chefs like I looked up to at the time, where it's just, you know, you get to choose your hard and you get to really you know, stay with it. And some days are going to be easier than others. You know, this is not for everybody. This is like a really this is a bold thing, you know, opening up a restaurant. So
which you know, luckily through this podcast I've gotten to meet a lot of success stories, but I'm curious how many failures happened through the pandemic. You know, like people wanted to do their own thing, and it's not, it isn't, unfortunately, for everyone. But the thing is, like, when you have your own thing, it actually takes you further away from the thing that brought you there in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. And two, it's like you're having to really you're having to change even at like a faster route to get up the hill. But no, like our team is doing a really amazing job of getting to really practice on our equipment.
Nice.
I started baking bagels in a Le Creuset pan. I then elevated to a hotel pan, and I was baking. And we first would boil the bagels in the pan, then I would use my home oven to bake. Then we updated to hotel pans. We would boil them in the water, and then we hit them in the oven. And now we, you know, have a tilt skillet, and we have a deck oven, and we've just come such a long way. And if you look at things in, you know, an echo chamber of, it's like, you know, things are actually a lot slower now that we've been open for a couple months, but it's, you know, why is that? Oh, it's because it's January. You know, it's because like who wants to go out in, you know, 1 degree weather, you know? And it's also that thing too, where there's levels to success and there's levels to having a business, and understanding that even though like this is a food business and we want to really provide hospitality, it's like there's different times during the year where sales are going to be higher, and there's different times in the year where things are just going to be really slow.
So you learn to provide cushion.
Well, that's, you know, for next year. We will have more of a cushion for sure. As the operator, you ensure that the team gets to eat as well. You know, everyone's taken care of. And that's like something that's been very, very exciting for me. And to really be able to provide for, you know, folks is like very, very important to me. So, like what started as a farmer's market is now a restaurant, and it's.
To come back to the timeline, like, would you say it was on the farm in Long Island that you started gaining more awareness of bread?
So that, and thanks for asking. So I was on this farm, and I was able to see a lot of different things from, you know, we had a wonderful garden. All the meat that was sold on the farm was either raised on the farm or like down the street. So they raised like pigs, lamb, chicken. They would get beef from like across the street, and then they would make, you know, fresh sourdough bread. And I didn't have the luxury of getting to learn how to make the bread on the farm, but the fact that somebody was just so multifaceted in their craft, like that inspired me to take the leap in like a different direction. And
what brought you there in the first place?
Team on the farm, the chef was from Washington, D.C. I met him when I was there, Chef Julian. he went to go live on this farm and work at this wonderful shop. It's Eight Hands Farm. So Eight Hands is run by a family, mom, son, daughter, dad, so Eight Hands. And that he was responsible for, the whole culinary program. So sausages, pâtés, stocks, consommes, ragouts, fresh bread, and really created this almost like European, like deli vibe, farm to table vibe. So before I moved here full time, I went to go hang out with him. And yeah, it was really, really intense in terms of just not being in a city. It was very and really grounding. Just like being super grounding. After that I came here full time.
And what was something pulling you here? Like why? I guess what compelled you to leave, and then why here?
So at the time, my now wife was living here, and so we did long distance for like a year plus. And she's like, "Are you gonna move here?" I'm like, "Yeah, totally. We're gonna move here."
Did you cross paths in Long Island? Or?
We crossed paths in DC. So yeah. Wow. So we met in DC. Was living there. I'm from there. She was at school. I was working in a restaurant. And yeah, it's also just been like nice to grow with somebody. So like starting as like in restaurants and working on this like kind of this craft of like operating in these like dinner only restaurants, to then having her move here, doing long distance, and then ended up on the farm. And that was just like the season of where I was at. And then moving in Chicago in 2018, I was able to really get comfortable here in the Midwest.
First restaurant was Monteverde,
yeah,
for dinner.
Yes. And that was incredibly exciting too, because is at such a high volume, you were able to really create just something so special. Something that really drew me to it was they would make pasta, like they make pasta fresh, and it's just this like huge show. And you see, the people rolling out the dough, making the noodles, stuffing the dough, and then that same pasta is literally like given to the cooks to throw in the water. And that's like, I was at restaurants where you would have pasta either made that day or like a couple days, and
so not that fresh,
but it was just there's just something really special about that. And
a quick side tangent is like, at some point, and you hear this kind of sentiment through fine dining of like, at some point the returns are marginal after a certain kind of point. Now that being said, like you just shared that like it still feels more fresh. There's this specialness to the amount of effort that goes into that. Which makes it worth it, right? To like, why stop at a certain point just because it doesn't achieve a certain profit afterwards?
Well, like I think like with hospitality, and what I take with a lot of the restaurants that I've worked at, and what like Zeitlin's is now and what it was and will continue to be, is there's like a showmanship aspect of making the fresh pasta, then handing off to the cook, to then throwing it in the water, to then cooking it, making the sauce, then providing to the guests. Like there's something special about seeing a sandwich being made like on the street at a farmer's market. You like talking, you're just like slicing bagels, making it, smearing it, whatever, and like having that composure and having that like direct connection to where you're seeing something being made in real time. And then that I think, like it may cost a bit more. It may, like it doesn't necessarily, like with some of the pastas, I definitely think that like having it fresh really, really made the difference. And, like they made these like giant raviolos, and like you're literally like adding the puree and the cheese into the raviolo, patting it fresh. If it was in a fridge, like it would get soggy, and like this thing of like, gently basting the pasta like in the brown butter, and like having that, like it's like, wow, like that's badass. Like that's super cool. And then like even like going into Galit and like having, the hummus being made and you making a well, and just like with like a little bit of olive oil and like some nice dried sumac, and just that whole experience and thing. It was like, wow, like this food, you're not necessarily making these tiny plates of something that would be revered, or like you're actually having a functional business where you're mass producing at a very high scale, very high volume, but like the flavors are there, the organization's there,
but at a high level too.
At a very high level.
Yeah.
And that's what I've wanted to achieve with the things that I do is make a really good bagel. We did it 10 times, then we did it 100 times, and the bagels now, even as we've scaled, have like gotten better. So like that's also like a really, really great thing. The bread has gotten better. It's gotten more consistent, and that like some days are better than others, but that's just how we have to operate, is like continuing to try to give a wonderful experience to the community. What's your experience with Jewish deli? Like, where, other than you would go to, did you also go to
I was
New York Bagel and Bialy, or?
Yeah, I was born in Skokie, but when I was 12 we moved to Palatine.
Okay.
So more northwest suburbs, but my mom still worked in that area, and she would pick up like Kaufman's or New York Bagel and Bialy from time to time.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I met a good buddy in college, and his parents met at Nels North.
Okay.
And they still live in that area, and they would get weekly bagels for the whole family.
Yeah.
And that he would just tell me stories of like going to the deli at midnight, and they're making them for the next day.
Yeah.
And just because of their relationship, they would just toss them a few over the counter, just fresh off the press, essentially. And it's really cool to have that sense of community that you're achieving right now.
Yeah,
is to know your neighbor, essentially.
Yes, yeah. and two, I mean, and that's the thing that I definitely didn't experience until I actually like lived in New York and actually had that like hot bagel experience. But everybody asked. I was just asked this question earlier today, is like, what's your favorite bagel? And I guess like, to that answer, it's like my favorite bagel is the bagel that I get to bake the next day. And I really need to get back to baking bagels now. There's a lot of other things I have to do and get to do, but like that sentiment of like every day that I get to continue doing what I'm doing, or like following what I'm doing, now it's not so much the baking of the bagel, but it's more of just like the teamwork and the guiding of the business. Yeah. And that's my favorite bagel, is like every day I get to do this is like a good day. And on top of that, I guess like the hottest bagel, like the freshest bagel. It doesn't really matter to me. I just think like fresh,
like people
quality,
are looking for flavors,
level.
right?
Yeah. I'm just like, I want to have a fresh bagel.
Yeah.
But if we're looking for that generic, what's your favorite bagel? I really, really love, like if we're having like a hot bagel sandwich, it's just like a poppy seed bagel, egg and cheese. And then like I love the smoked salmon bagels. I actually recently added trout roe on the smoked salmon bagel, which adds this texture of, the crunchy, burst of fish flavor on your bagel.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Is that rather than lox or capers?
We're adding it on there, man. No, for sure. But yeah, I also think too, we're gonna start making some new flavors. Like every month, we're gonna be doing a different flavor and trying to promote, just somebody from the community, or small business, or like an organization. That's something I'm really, really looking forward to doing. And then, probably in the half-year mark, probably a little bit sooner actually, I really want to get with other chefs to like make different sandwiches and like kind of host them, or like have me go over there. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
That's the beauty of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's like the possibilities are limitless.
Yeah.
So the pop-up recently at with Holy Dough and Alay Cafe, like they're college buddies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the guy that made the reel, who
that looked like a delicious sandwich,
was a former radio DJ for B96. Was also, they were in AE Pie at Urbana.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah. And it's just like, and it took them this, and not that it took them this long, but like they could have easily collabed when they first, at the inception, but they're both kind of like peaking, and then you peak together, and it's just like, what a beautiful moment.
No, absolutely. and too, like, I think that's also like, the thing that's been special about entrepreneurship in general for me is getting to understand different business models, different businesses, and then their teams and who's shopping with them. Like
if there's any overlap.
Yeah. And then you get new followers, new people that are into it.
Yeah.
And it also allows people to understand more about what you're doing. So like, folks that may have not been ever going to the farmers markets, like we just made, hundreds of sandwiches at an office building, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking like, like these people know Zeitlin's. Nobody knows about Zeitlin's. 10 farmers markets a week in the summer. Like I'm out here schlepping my bread and bagels like for 5 years. Like I'm really like, wanting to be of service. And it's like now that we have the restaurant, now it's a completely different clientele. And you have other businesses that may have had restaurants before, had shops before. It's you. There's always a good time to make a connection, to bring something, to somebody they never had, and to, just to make a sale, So
there's definitely something unique and special about the level of community you can have through a farmer's market and even through your first brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And I got to ask Joe Fontana this, who founded Fry the Coop.
Okay, yeah.
Because he just blew up, right? And it's just like how he navigated trying to maintain that charm.
For sure.
If that's something he wanted to do, like that level of community. And I would still see videos of him like giving back to local high schools and things like that, just providing lunches.
Absolutely.
And do you... And I'm sure you do. Like when the farmers markets come back, are they still going on, or like they're still going on?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was like,
still going on.
Is that something you still want to do? Do you have the bandwidth to do things like that?
No. Yeah. And no, like that's something that we always I always want to do. In regards to Fry the Coop, love their email list. I'm on their email list, and something that I think he does well is he's really poignant and connects with the reader on his email list. Yeah. And so, never ever met him, but really, I still get them. I'm still reading them.
Yeah.
The farmers markets. I mean, that is for anybody that wants to start a food business, for anybody that wants to scale and understand, and who may want to start slow or want to start things on their own terms. Go to a farmers market, meet with the people, and really create a sense of who you are through this. You don't need a lot of money to start up at a farmer's market. The booth fee is anywhere from like $50 to $75+ like a day.
That's it. Okay, maybe it depends on the market.
Yeah, it depends on the market. Okay, so like you have like a fee to pay for the application, and then you have to have insurance, and but really it's like, okay, so if I'm not ready to take on the full responsibility of utilities for every single day, I could,
like a brick and mortar.
Yeah, like I could rent a shared kitchen. I can then go into a smaller environment. I don't have enough money for the marketing. Okay, great. Like you're in like a farmer's market setting. They do the marketing. They help promote your business like through their email list. You're there day in, day out for a season or two. Like you're getting to meet the customers. You're getting to really engage with people. And everybody's just like so excited to be there. It's such a wonderful space.
Yeah.
And at first it's like Delicatessen, like where's your brick and mortar? Where's this? Where's that? It's like, oh, we're not there yet, but we're chugging along. We're getting there, and
that's some foresight.
Yeah.
To have Delicatessen in the name.
Totally. And like, why isn't it deli? Why don't you just do bagels? And it's like, because this is what I feel is right, and this is what I want to provide, and like this will become what it's supposed to be. And yeah, now it is what it is.
Prior to the farmers markets, did you go the cottage food route?
Yeah. So well, not even in the farm, like yes, and so like during the pandemic, and just something that I'm so lucky and fortunate about is I had people that were like in my corner during the pandemic, like letting me try things out. I had people that I could throw ideas off of, and even during that hard time, I was able to find some sort of peace or joy helping others and serving others. And I think that as a business owner, like that's the kind of mentality you have to have is, but
that's where, that's definitely one component to fulfillment is like, how can you be of service?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, you could definitely go the cottage food route, going online, getting a license. I think that's a whole thing where for bread, it's different. A lot of people don't have these like nicer bread ovens where they're going to like, scale their business, so that's something you also have to take into consideration.
Yeah.
And, but no, just, I was able to really just get my feet wet during the pandemic and then just continue on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of coming back to your initial dinner at Monteverde.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was like maybe eye-opening or reassuring to the level of the food scene that you want to now be a part of.
Well, so can you please ask that again? So So
I guess it was, you had a great meal, and I've never been to either Galit or Monteverde, but like you had this wonderful meal at Monteverde, and was it reassuring or eye-opening to be in Chicago? It's just like, wow, I feel like I can make something of myself, or I can learn really great things here.
Totally. I think, like as a cook, I definitely felt like this was kind of a new stepping stone for my like career.
Yeah.
It was also just interesting to meet a bunch of people that had either just started or like were there like on the ground floor. And something that that I think is really exciting is they've been able to really promote within and really create a culture of excellence through their teams. I think that starting at the farmers market, I really wanted to eventually get to a restaurant, and that everybody's route is different. And I think that's totally okay. And I think more cooks and more people should feel inclined to start their own thing or go the alternative route.
So were you working on these things simultaneously?
I was working at Galit during the pandemic. We had the pandemic, 2020, March 17th, was I think like my last day before I was kind of, we all like took like time off.
Yeah.
And they were very, very communicative and very honest with where they were at as a business. Really, really, hindsight, if there ever is another pandemic, God forbid, like that is definitely something you have to communicate, man. Like, the team relies on your ability to communicate, your ability to, really steer them. So yeah, I was, during that time I started Zeitlin's, like, I guess, like I spent some time in Texas and I was helping my friend grow his business. And then I came back here, and right before I was going like full time with Zeitlin's, like I got my LLC and everything, I got a call from Zach. He's like, hey, like, you want to come back to work? I'm like, yeah. So this all kind of started at the same time of getting my job back and then starting Zeitlin's. And that also is something too where you really want to, I mean, there'll never be a good time to really go down the path of like doing your own thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's never gonna feel perfect. Yeah,
but I think during the pandemic, that was a big reset for me. So even though now it's very different. You know, now I'm really in it, but even during hard times, like there are moments where you can really make a shift that will change it up for the rest of your life.
So after Monteverde, it wasn't immediately Galit.
No, it was, went to Monteverde, Galit, and then during the pandemic, and then during the pandemic, I
Texas
took some time, went to Texas, came back.
Okay. So what pulled you towards Galit?
I met,
you know, it's got to take, like, I've never met Chef Zach, but like, it's got to, that sentiment of like, I'm assembling my own Avengers to create this opening team.
Yeah. So like, and that was also like something that I'm really
just get the
fortunate.
Arm down.
Sorry. That was something fortunate that I was able to be a part of. Was like a restaurant opening.
Was it the fact that it was opening, or was it Middle Eastern food? Like, or was it Chef Zach?
It was an opening and Zach. So I met him in DC. We did an event together in DC. He was, chef de cuisine, head operations. I was working at a restaurant, and when I moved to Chicago, he essentially like moved to Chicago, and he was about to open this, and I was like, oh, cool.
That's
like,
wild.
I know, and too, like, it was also, it was a style of food that I never really made before, at like a super high level, and something that I knew that would be a really, really great opportunity. And
cool.
I was right, yeah.
Okay, and then were there any takeaways from being part of an opening team? I'm sure. Did you get to see some of the BTS of the entrepreneurship journey or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that I was always my feet on the ground, and I was observant, but I think the most thing I took away from that was working the stations and really understanding that even with a small food business, like, things are going to change all the time, and that you're never really going to get, like, it takes years to really get your groove. And I think it was really special to kind of to leave and come back and then finally like head out. But like the way that they communicate about team and culture and are honest, and they have a lot of fun. And that's something at Zeitlin's too, where I am trying to cultivate, like, I'm looking forward to cultivating fun for the team, for the community. When you come into the restaurant like you did, how did you like your time at Zeitlin's? You just came in. I'm interested.
The first time I saw the inside was through an Instagram reel on Chef's Tribune, when you kind of doing a backwards walking tour. And it's homey. It reminds you of a deli. And you said you had friends and family in. Great. I mean, that's the idea. And over time, I can't wait for you to fill all the walls up with all the family photos and friends photos, and just really make it your own. And the recognition, but even if it was a stranger, I'm like the fact that like, hey, welcome in, goes a long way.
Totally. And
you're not too busy for that.
No, not at all. And that's how the deli is. And that's how it should be.
It's loud. Everyone's like communal. Everyone's kind of chit-chatting with each other, and it's nice.
We just not just updated, but about a month and a half ago, we added some art on the wall. So there's a sign up that says no etching. The sign means like it's saying in Yiddish, like, don't whine. Like, whining isn't allowed.
It's kvetching?
Yeah. And then below that, there's a photo or 9 separate photos of different levels of toast. And something that I think is very poetic of that is, in the Midwest, 99% of people toast their bagels, which is like fine. And something that we are really trying to gauge with each customer is their level of toast, because even when you toast a bagel, somebody's going to say it's not toasted. even though we toast it.
I never thought about that.
And we really, really, like, we're very honest. Like, when the bagel's toasted, like, we toast the bagel. And if it's in a bag, if it's this, and like, that's what's so special about Jewish deli food in general, is it's memories and ritual and nostalgia that looks like a bagel. And like, everybody's gonna have their own opinion, and everybody's gonna, you know, offer theirs, and I think that's something special. Is there's a lot of ownership that folks feel about Zeitlin's, which is a blessing and a curse, but it's something. It comes with the territory, I guess, of opening up a deli, right?
Is that a setting or a preference that you're going to provide as like toast level?
No. I mean, like, and that, because here's the thing. When you give people too many options,
oh, that's true.
They're even gonna have more opinions, and it's like, we are trying to do this thing that we know is something that's really important, and when we focus in and really do it right, that's when it shines. You know, you don't ask for like a side of like red chili flake or oregano and some Parmesan at the Jewish deli, like that, because we won't have that, and that's something that, like, and like, that's okay. Like, we really just want to make sure that, like, folks understand that it's like, we're here for you. Yeah. This is what we have. We hope you like it.
Yeah, there's a similar sentiment with folks at Novel and Pizza Michi, with like, when folks try to build their own pizza and it becomes sloppy and too heavy, and sometimes people don't know what they want.
Yeah, and then it just gets to be a thing. You know, even if, you know, we, like, somebody said extra toasted, we extra toasted it. Oh, it's burnt. It's like, but so.
Yeah. I think it'll come over time. Like I know my buddy likes the I don't know if extra toasted or extra sauce on his Pequods Pizza, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, over time you'll have a preference, and
I'm just well done all the way.
Experiment it. Yeah,
well
right?
done all the
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
Like, all Chicago pizza, well done all the way. Yeah. But yeah.
So tell me. So when the pandemic happened, tell me about what you had a friend in Texas.
Ben
They were opening their own bakery or pastry shop?
No, so they're just very similar to me. You know, Ben, a dear high school friend, he got into cooking in college, worked in some restaurants, and had a shorter stint in restaurants before he started his own business. He's Korean and Jewish, and he started making his mom's signature kombucha recipes, kimchi recipes, and was making these beautiful consumer packaged goods, selling them at farmers markets. Something that really strikes me when people make food is it's like their ability to tell stories. And Ben really, like, for 4 years, and still is really trying to promote, like, you know, fermentation and really building like a community around fermented foods. And at the time I was like knee deep in just like the bread. And, you know, during the pandemic, you know, he was seeing the price of the glass going up, and is it affordable to make these pickles, and how do you scale? And I was like hungry. I was like, I want to bake. And then Ben and I were just side at the time. It's like, you know, I'd love to bake for you, man. Like, let's go. So I ended up splitting my time through Houston and Austin. And what Ben was doing was he, you know, had a shared kitchen. He was operating at the Sustainable Food Center in Austin, Texas, which is like a wonderful environment. And we would bake sourdough bread and, you know, the cast iron skillets, make these bagels, and then we would go to the farmers markets and sell them. And it was so exciting because during the pandemic, it was like restaurants were shuttering.
So people would go to farmers markets?
They would go to farmers markets. Yeah. And it's like, what? Like, you can succeed doing this thing that I always wanted to do. And like, that was like the highest level I think that I achieved at that time in my life where it was helping somebody grow their business and then ultimately unlocking like a confidence that like, this is something that I could also do if I put my mind to it. And that through deeply going inward and understanding who you are, then you're able to like share that with others. So shout out to Ben, and like just shout out to people in general, like in Chicago or just everywhere that are doing that. And then when I came back to Chicago, I was just seeing people do that more, and I'm like, let's go. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's great.
The path became visible.
Yeah. And, you know, it's like when there's, you know, when there's a plague, when there's a pandemic, it's like what? Like, there's Jews on the street selling bagels, like, you know, and that like, and like that thriftiness, that like, that excitement.
You mentioned exploring, you know, the Jewish history within Chicago on, you know, shout out Terms of Service, Justin and Nariba. And, you know, I live right by 18th and Halstead, and I would go get I haven't done it in a while, but I would get a weekly Polish from Jim's. Yeah. Right? And I have this old photo of Maxwell Street Market.
Yeah. And that whole thing is, and that was the shtetl. Like specifically that was like way more closer to Roosevelt. And that was also like so cool is like at when the Maxwell Street flea market was still going on, like I would go eat rubies and I would be eating like.
Were you part of Dish Roulette Kitchen?
Yeah.
You were so part. I feel like I saw you guys in some photos
and just like it's just like very symbolic and just that they've been so accommodating and really helped me steer how like where we're at now. And that like they've really allowed me and like helped me kind of like forge a path. And
Isn't it wild? Really, like it's
and that it's like just it's like just down the street. So for all of these communities to kind of be so close and realize that that we're continuing to tell stories in like similar areas while also, you know, looking out, looking in. But yeah, like going to Ruby's and like that also was an environment where like many like Jewish immigrants like used to sell their stuff. And, you know, there's, you know, like, you know, the most famous Jewish deli in the area, like Annie's is like still there on Jefferson.
It is, yeah.
And like that's like the last of it. But all this, like all those suit shops, like all of like the clothing stores, like those, you know, those all used to be like, you know, small like Jewish owned businesses. And it's very, very intriguing. And I think just like driving down the streets, even though I've only been here for, you know, whatever, 8 years or so, it's like being able to kind of be in the environment and understanding what was there, what still is. It's very, very grounding.
It is grounding. And man, your friend Ben sounds so interesting. You said you split your time between Austin and Houston. What was Houston for?
Houston is I was staying with my now in-laws.
Oh, okay. All right.
So that's also in Sugarland, if you're familiar with Sugarland.
Nice. Yeah, I follow a guy, big OG YouTuber, Christian Guzman, who has Alpha Land. Okay. It's a big conglomerate gym now, clothing brand gym, and it's based out of Sugarland.
Okay, yeah. So and that was So we would So I was just like driving. I rented, you know, like a 4Runner or something. I was driving from like, you know, Houston.
Really, 4Runner?
Well, that was like the biggest car that I had.
Okay, for the function.
For the function.
It's not great on mileage.
No. And then like, you know, when I forget if you're driving downhill or uphill going to Houston or Austin, whatever, but it's like the trip was that much more economically friendly, you know, depending on where you're going. But that was also the journey of like entrepreneurship was not like during the pandemic, like I was making cooking videos on Zoom and I was like cooking and writing out different prompts of like, telling, like we did like American Chinese food, we did cacio e pepe, we did just all these things.
You and Ben, or
no, just like me,
just
like
you?
yeah. So like I would split my time to do like Zoom videos, which like people would like pay for. Like it wasn't scalable.
Where are the people coming from?
These were like childhood friends, and it's like during the pandemic when all of us were like, oh my gosh, we have to go on Zoom to cook dinner with ourselves. But no, like it was crazy, man. And like Zoom also popped up during the pandemic. I had no idea what Zoom was.
Yeah, right.
Until,
wow.
Was like when was your first Zoom experience?
Here's the thing. What happened to Skype?
Yeah. Well, they didn't hop on. They didn't. I actually don't know what happened to Skype. I forgot the story, but I know something happened.
There's Teams. There's
Well, no. Skype transitioned to Teams, I think, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's what happened. I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Google, there's Google Meet. There's Zoom. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think I would agree with you. It's just like Zoom really popped off in the pandemic.
Yeah. But yeah, I was doing that, and
when did you feel ready to come back to Chicago?
It was. I guess it was, I mean, when did I feel ready? I felt ready. I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel, what is feeling ready? I felt that I needed to come back to Chicago. I mean, I had my apartment here. I wanted to get back here and kind of like see what was going on. I like miss Chicago. I love my time in Texas, but like I wanted to be here for Zeitlin's Deli. That wasn't even created yet, but it was definitely something that I dreamed of and wanted. So,
well, every I'm sure skill set you picked up was an iteration, and it's just like, this is how I'm going to apply it to Zeitlin's.
Yeah, I know for sure, and I'm also just like, I'm really antsy, man. Like I need to practice my patience, but I was impatient. Like I wanted to really move this thing here, move this thing there. And now with the restaurant, it's a whole other level of patience of like waiting to really get the word out. Yeah. And even with the farmers markets, like you have different marketing tactics, you have different pamphlets, signs, QR codes, all this stuff. It's like time, man. Time.
Yeah.
You got to extend your timeline in order to feel like, okay, this is all right. This is fine.
When did Hal come into the picture? When did you start looping Hal in?
Hal. No, like Hal and I.
Is he younger or older?
Hal is younger.
Younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hal and I are continuing to work together on like a smaller scale, but it really started during like when I moved to Chicago. Like Hal made my first pamphlet when we were promoting the deli.
Was he already into like website design?
He was. Yeah. So yeah, that's what he does. That's his.
And is he based in LA?
Yes, he's based in LA.
So he was just in town. He just happened to be in town when I called him.
All of this was
yesterday.
Yeah, because it's
or 2 days ago.
Yeah. 2 days ago. Yeah, because it was we just celebrate. Well, we're about to celebrate my daughter's birthday, so it was all like family time. But that we made the pamphlet, and that was our first thing. And in business in general, it's like you cannot do everything. And as a chef, as a younger chef, it's like I want to do all these things and I want to have total control and like and it's like what I've been learning is like you have to let go of control in order to allow these things to kind of expand the way they need to. And that it's like, okay, I've been making these bagels for this amount of time. I don't even think about how I'm going to get them out. And then he doesn't think about he doesn't think about making bagels. He thinks about like how to like communicate the fact that we have the bagels.
So very complimentary.
Yeah. Very, very complimentary. And it was also like during the pandemic, it really started where like Zeitlin's Deli came into the idea of like, let's actually do this because let me get my words right. For him, it was like, let's create this business model where there's more of like a subscription model, and let's do like he was really gung-ho about, let's do like a catering business or like a meal prep service. I'm like, Hal, we have to open up Zeitlin's Delicatessen. He's like, what? No, that's not going to work.
Interesting.
And I was like, no, man, like future family recipes, Zeitlin's Delicatessen. He's like, Sam, like that, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm like, Hal, we got to make bagels, man.
Wow.
We have to do this. And yeah, like that was like him and I,
it's really insightful to hear
it's
that.
It's a family. Yeah. It's a whole family affair. And
despite the butting heads, I'm sure it's been really nice to work with someone that is just as invested or moves just as fast as you need them to move.
Initially, yes. Now, like I was saying, now we have like a team and a lot more structure.
Yeah.
But no, like this is something where, I'm very, very close to my brother, and it's just been really great for us to expand the deli together, for us to grow into young adulthood together.
Yeah.
You know, it's also been really nice to be with other families. So like my dad, you know, we get to make food for my dad and really have him enjoy it. He's also just like been like a guiding.
Is he still on the East Coast, or has he been
still on the East Coast? Yeah, but he also was just here. And having my dad be supportive and kind of be excited about what we're doing has been very, very important. There's a Yiddish term, Nachas. And that term is the feeling that a parent gets to see their children succeed or be present with their gift. And then it's also this way of like seeing them thrive, seeing them flourish by also like serving others and helping others. So he feels that. And it's been it's just been crazy. Like the fact that we grew up enjoying this food, appreciating it as a consumer, but now to be like a producer and to really facilitate other people's enjoyment has also been really nice. Like having, you know, a young kid or a couple or an old man or an old woman or even just somebody that's never enjoyed deli, like being with them at the deli has just been super surreal. And I kind of like, I just saw it go on as like, you know, as a kid, and now to provide that for others, it's super duper rewarding.
Yeah,
it's great.
It is.
Yeah.
Derek from Poly G's would make his way to every table as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check in.
Yeah, just checking in and just like seeing how it is. And I feel also lucky to be in like the Chicago restaurant landscape now. Like and I think that like the Chicago farmers markets and the Chicago restaurants, like they need to come together more. And I think they can learn a lot from one another.
I've never heard that Yiddish term Nachas. And
Nachas, yeah.
I can't like I can't do the H.
And two, like there's just those like little things from like the old world that like creep into
it's
the
beautiful
everyday
though.
life. Yeah,
you know how open-minded was your dad? How much steering, did they do?
Yeah, so definitely more open-minded as I got older. I think in general, like no matter how we look at it right now in this age, completely excited, completely over the moon.
Did they visit during the farmers market days?
Totally. No, like they've been on, and they, I used to cook. I as a kid would always cook for my family. And
okay.
It was just something that I really feel lucky to still do, and that it's like different now. It's like we're focusing on like the family, and it's like my daughter, and it's really like just being present with the family in general is like super important to me.
The other upside of entrepreneurship is, especially if you have your own brick and mortar, family can hang out.
Yeah. And two, it's like, we've had, birthday parties. We celebrated Hanukkah at the deli. we had like 60 people at the deli, like chowing down on latkes, fried chicken for Hanukkah, a big power move, delicious. But yeah, it's just like, it's a place to hang.
Yeah.
It's a place to hang out.
Yeah.
We've had big parties, we've had small parties, we've had networking events, you know, and it's a great place to host. So yeah.
So you came back, and were you starting to now then further explore baking out of your home, or did you go into farmers markets?
No, like I was, so I essentially, like after I got back from Houston, I like went back to Galit, and I was also like splitting time in Bridgeport because it was still during the pandemic. So like
why Bridgeport?
So at the time, a colleague of mine was down there, and we were like, I was able to like bake outside of like inside of Kimski, and
I've never met that guy. He's
Juan.
He seems so multifaceted.
Yeah,
and that guy too. Ed Von Lupin.
Yeah. So and then you know, now Pizza Michi was
pizza fried chicken
ice cream. So like I was able to like bake in there, and it was also
I did not know that. You know, bagels use the same deck oven as pizzas.
No, like it's just like, thank God, like they were just super accommodating, and it was
did that
a really good time.
Thought ever cross your mind as far as just like sharing space with a pizza shop?
I mean, it all happened that it was just the right place at the right time, and I was able to kind of be there and split time, and just they were just so accommodating, and you know, as you grow and expand, then it's like sharing's great, but you know, sometimes
it's nice to have a home.
Oh, for sure. And like everybody needs their space, you know.
Yeah.
You know, everybody needs to feel safe and secure in their home. So then went to the first shared kitchen, which was in like Westtown area, Harfield Park area.
Yeah.
And then went down to 26th Street, and I spent a long time there, which was like really formative in terms of, even though I was sharing, it was like I was one of like the main operators there. And I'm just like really grateful for the time that I spent in all the places I did, and levels, and really now it's like, so now we're in Lincoln Park, and it's that's a whole other thing, you know, and it's just, like the journey is the best part. I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but
yeah,
and I'm gonna check my parking, but like it's been just every day it's crazy.
And you feel like you have the bandwidth to come back to farmers markets? Totally.
So we are getting there right now. So we're in the winter farmers markets, and then we're gonna be getting into the summer farmers markets. We're gonna be getting that going very soon.
Are there certain farmers markets that you prefer?
I mean, yes, and you know, it used to be me at like every farmers market, really being with people like initially. Then as we expanded, I'm not able to go to all the farmers markets, but I really just like meeting with the customers and really just kind of seeing where they're at, and it's a show. Like it's and just having like, similar to cooking, like hundreds of different intimate conversations and being present with others is just something that I really feel lucky that I get to do and really called to do. So and every neighborhood's different. So like Wicker Park is very different than Logan. Logan is very different than South Loop, 61st Street, you know, Hyde Park. Like we were going out to Lake County. Like that's a completely different area. But like sometimes also understanding that maybe I could do less and be more effective than by doing more. Like when you're growing, you feel like I have to do more, but sometimes maybe like having one less farmer's market that could like really be successful, like way more successful for you.
Well, how do you find someone, if you're trying to make it to all these overlapping events, like that cares just as much as you do, or cares just as much as you need them to?
Yeah. So that's also been something that through the pandemic, like I got help. I was able to grow and expand with other people. Something I feel very lucky about is other people have been able to do the same thing within Zeitlin's. So there's been a lot of different other entrepreneurs or like folks that have their thing that they want to go and do. So we've been able to kind of work together and kind of facilitate growth and expansion with one another. My success is when other people are successful, and that really being able to see other people start their own businesses while expanding has just been really unique.
Yeah, a recent example of that is like in Pilsen here, the pop-up inside the Pink Line, Chomp Pizza.
Yeah.
He got his, not his chops, but like
he got his chomp.
Yeah, I know, right? But like he was in the back at Novel Pizza.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But he would also make it out of his house too. And so I didn't know that until he told me, and I was like, that's freaking dope. And after he told me, I was like, I remember, like, your face is so familiar.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. And too, it's like the more I'm able to help and the more I'm able to serve will bring me all of the
so it's
all
like
of the good,
remembering
all the fortune, all the mazel, you know, all the joy and all the good stuff. So
like we're here to help people get to where they want to go.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, at Zeitlin's too, like if you want to, you know, eventually order a chocolate chip bagel with jalapeno schmear, like I want to be there to support you if that's what we're going to be doing, you know. So we want to be with you every step of the way.
Do you like a little pivot to the identity?
Yeah,
it's like it's really cool to hear your journey of embracing the Jewish heritage. And how often do you go down the curious path of like the Ukrainian like heritage?
So that was big during, you know, definitely during the pandemic. There was a big push. There was like a big like there was a big bake sale that where like we actually would bake like it was called like Hamantashen for Ukraine, and it was this kind of big push, similarly to like the like during the, you know, George Floyd protests where folks were like baking out their house and like donating funds to different organizations. My family identity doesn't necessarily stem from Ukraine, even though that's where like we're from. It mainly stems from like, you know, other places in Europe, just because like that's like where they ended up before coming to the United States. And like I just look at like the umbrella Ashkenazi Jewish experience, like secular Ashkenazi Jewish experience of the United States as being kind of where my head's at and like my voice is at. So very ingrained in like Jewish culture, Jewish thought, but not in like a religious or like doctrine. Like
so Ashkenazi doesn't necessarily mean Orthodox.
No, Ashkenazi is just the diaspora of Jews that ended up in like Germany, Poland, Ukraine, Russia.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and like that. Yeah, so that is where Ashkenazi comes from. Yeah. So it's not an observance framework. It is a diaspora framework. Yeah.
But it's still very embedded or ingrained in like the livelihood or lifestyle.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think like
I know
it's
you're not kosher, but like you know.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I see your posts like you know get it for Passover. You know,
no. Like and no, like this is for everybody.
Yeah.
But the food is also deeply for people who observe holidays, whether it's cultural, whether it's religious.
Yeah.
And like similar to any cultural food, like we are here for you, and we want you to come in for a nosh, you know, like we want to you know, serve you the way that maybe your family or, you know, your friends experience hospitality. And it's been interesting to see Midwest deli than East Coast deli. Like it's very, very different. and I'm happy that we get to kind of hug.
Was that intentional?
Yeah, I mean, because that's who I am. Like, I'm from the East Coast, but we use the city of Chicago as inspiration. So
and I guess how does it differ?
I think that, you know, the deli really came from, what I know of the story is it really came from the East Coast and moved kind of as people immigrated, like kind of all over the country. And I think that, I mean, that's just like my food memory. Like, those are my frameworks of like East Coast deli rather than eating in the Midwest. But yeah, it's
But I guess
still
what vibes within the deli are different?
Something that I think that, I mean, the bagels specifically, I think in the Midwest are like softer. And it's more like doughy, where like, I think like East Coast bagel or sandwich is like, there's like a little more texture. There's just like the recipe and like the technology is different.
It's not the water.
It's not the water. No, that's crazy. I mean, like, water definitely is important, and like kind of the hardness or softness of the water is important, but I don't think it's the water, no, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish it was, but no.
Is there almost like a European pace to the Midwest deli of like, you don't have to necessarily get your bagel and leave? There's this like, you can take your time?
No, so like right now, I think the deli is definitely more like on the go. I think like delis used to be, well, like all delis used to be more like you would stay there. You would like kind of like enjoy and like celebrate. And like folks could afford to have like a 2-hour lunch, man. Like who has time for that? Nobody has time for that.
I mean, you have the space to do that now.
Totally.
Whereas like Bagel and Bialy doesn't have the space to do that.
No. But that's also like a bagel shop. That's not a Jewish deli. So it's different.
Okay. I haven't been inside Kaufman's in a while, but they probably have seating.
I would say no. So they have like 4 stools or something. But no. And that's also interesting too, is that setup, that I don't think it used to always be like that. I think during the pandemic they had to shift their seating. But yeah, and that's what's interesting about the bagel shop or deli in general, is like what used to be this very Jewish food created like a sandwich culture. So like bagel shops, like a traditional bagel shop is different than like a bagel sandwich shop. And I feel like a lot of the Chicago or like Midwest shops are more sandwich shops rather than like true bagel shops. But I think that's something that we can debate as folks, as people who consume the product. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
How hard was it to find the brick and mortar?
Hard, super hard, crazy, man. It was very hard.
What was the criteria?
The criteria was a place where we can get into. Initially, we wanted it to be in Hyde Park because at the time I was doing the 61st Street Farmers Market, and I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with the South Side, and we didn't have the foot traffic at the farmers markets. We didn't like we did at 61st. We didn't have. I felt very, very comfortable there, and just looking at the spaces and looking how much it's going to cost is like, wow, like even here it's like the square footage like is so much more expensive than Lincoln Park. Like that's crazy. Like
really in Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And then too, like it was just like looking at deals and like kind of weighing and seeing like what it would be like. It's very, very time consuming.
How many sandwiches do I need to sell?
How many sandwiches do I need to sell? But also and I'm more of a emotionally driven decision maker, which is definitely
is Hal the opposite?
Yeah, for sure.
Data driven?
No, I think we're both data driven, but it's a different type of data. And so we saw this place, and it was like, wow, like this could be it.
So your first place, that was like LP was your first place that you saw?
No, this was like the last place we saw after like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And,
okay, so sorry, what was your first place?
I mean, they were all over. Like it was the Loop, it was Southside, it was Wicker Park, it was all and
so was it
it's a blur,
like,
honestly. Like
is it size, is it rent, obviously, is it second gen kitchen space? Like what was What are we looking
It
for?
ended up being what we didn't want it to be, which was a giant investment. Yeah, but it's we're now swimming.
So it was a blank box?
It was a restaurant before.
Oh.
The hood that they had, because we didn't buy, because not the title, but the business license was outdated. You couldn't keep that style of hood, and we needed way more hood space in general. So we had to get a new hood. We had to a full refurbish, and then the cost of fixing up like all the joists, all the floor. It was a whole thing.
Wow.
But
so a lot of bagel bonds.
Yeah. SBA loans, beautiful SBA loan. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Is that through the city or through the federal government?
That's through the government. Yeah.
Government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Online bank there, but and that's also like what it is like even if you think you have enough, you're always going to need more. Yeah. So, but that's like what scaling a business is. Like it's the very, very infrequently can you not take out loans to grow a business. And that's just kind of like the name of the game.
But you're betting on yourself.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like I'm really like in like when I'm fully present and centered, it's like I'm investing wonderful resources and time in like creating something that is important that people really love. We're honing our skills as chefs and bakers and hospitality professionals to like provide service. And that's like what I'm really excited about is we've never made food that's better. We've never worked with more qualified, incredibly talented, thoughtful, generous people. We've never been able to reach this level of success, and we've never been able to tell our story in this way. Yeah. So that's like that's what this is to me. So yeah.
And you have dreams of going national.
National, Chicago first.
Yeah.
National, I think that national, I really want to stay in Chicago and really build the framework here. I think that it would be really intriguing and interesting to create a consumer packaged good that has more space, whether it's a challah or whether it's a sleeve of bagels or something that is more prominent. But like really telling our story like all over is like super important. And
you know how you see like Stan's Donuts and Mariano's like that? Like a Zeitlin sleeve of bagels?
A Zeitlin sleeve of bagels would be intriguing.
Wow.
I think also too like expanding the farmers markets. So like going all over the state would be really, really epic.
So that like
that level of
shifting gears of like needing a co-manufacturer too, but like
we would be the manufacturer. Like we would get a wholesale bakery and like expand in that way, which is an intention and like a goal that we have, but it takes time. And we've never been able to get into a new place without busting at the seams of our current place. So every time we've made the leap, we've had to really be like we cannot bake any more bagels because like we just don't have space.
Okay.
And that's something that we're going to be seeing during the spring and the summer.
Yeah. That's great. What a great feeling to squeeze all the juice.
Squeeze all the juice. Yes, absolutely. And but yeah, this is great. And to also like experience holidays through the lens of the deli. To really like we did Hanukkah at the deli. It was super duper successful. We learned a lot, we had to learn.
Are you working? Are you in work mode?
Yeah, I'm always in work mode.
I mean, but is there a part of you that's like, it's how special it is to host it here, but like
totally no.
Can I take a breath or?
Yeah. That's starting now.
Okay.
Very, very soon. Yeah. That is going to be implemented very soon, and that's going to be.
Yeah, you guys are looking for a GM.
Yes. Yeah, we're looking for a lot of things. But yeah, no, we're we're in a great place. The sun is shining. It's like a balmy 29 degrees right now. Everybody's in their
it's springtime.
Short sleeve shirts.
What's been the greatest amount of like margins for you guys? Is it the wholesaling aspect, the catering aspect, or the deli?
It's the catering. It's catering, and that's something we're really expanding and growing this year. I started handing out bagels on the streets. Now we're handing out the bagels in the office buildings. Like, we are on the ground really looking to provide the Zeitlins experience at your office, at your job. Like, you need an emotional support bagel in the winter. Like, it's cold. Have you had a good... Was your January just like... It was cold.
Rough. Yeah.
And like, let's lean into that with like a nice bagel, you know? And
you know, someone threw up right in front of our door, and luckily it was so cold I got to shovel it off the ground.
Oh my gosh. Nice. Yeah.
It was nice and frozen.
Yeah. No, for sure. And that whole thing is going to be really, really great. So,
yeah. Anything? We're approaching an hour and a half. Anything you want to share before we hop off?
No, like, I just feel really fortunate that we've been able to. Now I'm heading.
Thank you for
sharing
into the water.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think just, you know, this has been a nice time to reflect, and a nice time to, you know, have a little back and forth, and I'm really looking forward to what's next.
Some nosh and chat and nosh.
We're doing a kibitz and we're doing a chat. We're doing a kibitz and we're doing a nosh. Yeah. But no, that you know, being able to host people is just such a dream come true, and to have the best bagels that we've ever baked, to really grow that customer service element. Have you had some people come down all the way from the 61st Street farmers market?
Totally.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like, we're like still there. Like, we
Gotcha.
still do the farmers market, and but yeah, we've had people come from all over, and yeah, it's a good time at Zeitlin. So nice. Whoever's listening, we'd love to have you. We'd love to experience, being hospitable to you at the deli. If you're ever looking for catering, check out our website.
Yeah.
Zeitlinsdeli.com.
Is there a radius? Is there
the world?
No way.
The world, please. I will send it to Aurora. We have a driver. I will get on a horse and deliver.
Okay.
No. Yes, and just order through our website. It's really, really helpful for us, because then it gets the information
with enough notice. We'll get it to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, like, Zeitlin's Deli is some good times, and just shout out to everybody that is doing what they're passionate about and bringing people together.
Yeah.
And small business
makes the world go round.
Yeah, it makes the world go around.
Where can people find you if you want to be found?
Clybourn and Webster, Ledge Rock, Bagel.
You know what?
Ledge Rock Court used to be, that is the street that I grew up on. Oh. And that was kind of that was how I thought about, and still thinking about cooking for a long time. But Zeitlin's Delicatessen, Bagel Boy 312, that should change. I'm like 33. I gotta fix that up, man. Yeah. Old
we skipped over your food hall.
Yes.
With Time Out Market closing, it's like, are food halls, like, are some better than others to get into? Was it a necessary stepping stone for you?
Absolutely, totally necessary, and that was like a super blessing. And that's also just like the power of being in the right place at the right time, and also like testing things out.
Yeah.
That was our first step into like restaurant operations. Mm-hmm. So we were able to and still able to function and grow in a space 5 days a week. It's been really, really nice to meet people in the office buildings. I think now, like, some people are leaving the food hall in terms of businesses, some people are coming in, and now folks are getting back into work. So I think they are still viable. It's just a matter of also like, it's just got to work for your numbers. And that's something that we've also really learned is it's
and I'm sure Fulton Market rent is pretty expensive, so
we're now on Van Buren, so but Yeah.
Gotcha.
But no, thank you so much for
Sam,
having me.
thanks for being here. I'm sorry it took so long, but it was really good. I mean, like you said, I think it was a good time to reflect.
Totally. And yeah, thank you so much.
Okay. Till next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Give Sam and Zeitlin's Deli a good follow, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right. See ya.
Take care.